Hello, Eloi.
Hello, how are
How
you, Jeff?
nice to see you again.
Nice to see you too.
So I met you at Fourcas in Saint-Emilion, and then we
Yes,
tasted in New York, and now back to the other side of the river.
yes,
So nice. And I understand it's hot there.
that's really hot. Yeah, you were at Bergerac just before.
Yes, I saw you on. Thanks for joining me.
Yes, it's really, really hot, but it's good. We were waiting for that.
And hopefully some rain too. So let's start, Eloi. Can you tell us your background and how you got into wine? Whether you always knew it, or some people did other things, fell into it. So I'd like to know your story about how you got into wine.
Okay, um, I'm not like Obelix. I didn't fall in the wine when I was young, but I fell in love with wine when I was studying in Brittany because I'm from Brittany. And I came in Bordeaux at the university to learn about wine. It's a Master of Science in Agronomy with a specification in viticulture oenology. And after that, during my 5 years of studies, I went to several parts of the world. I went to Greece. I went to California, to Ridge, Lytton Spring. I went to the southeast of France, and I finally end in Bordeaux.
Mhm.
And I began working officially. It was my first job in 2003 in Côte de Bordeaux, exactly.
Okay.
And after I had the opportunity to manage and convert a winery in organic and biodynamic Chateau in Saint-Emilion. And until last year, and I had the opportunity to do the same with Renaud and Laurent Moméja at Chateau Fourcas Hosten, just behind.
Beautiful.
And I just began my new work this year during the confinement. I don't know how we say
Yeah,
confinement. And do you hear me well, or is it? Yes.
very well.
Okay. And so I'm here since 2 months and a half with a really great opportunity because the winery here is in conversion in organic and they want to go to biodynamic. The owner are really behind, two brothers,
Uh-huh.
Laurent and Renaud Moméja, and they asked me to take in charge this part, and I'm really proud of that. So
Exciting. So you stayed at the chateau for the confinement?
no, I began my work
Okay,
during the confinement,
that's good.
so it was quite strange,
Yeah.
but I am lucky because the team is really good.
Hmm.
Good energy at the chateau, and so it was not difficult to, even if the period was not the best, it was not difficult to be integrated in the team.
Right. So, Sophie sent me. Sometimes I never know what's going to pop up. Do this. So, could you tell us? I'd like to hear your take on right bank versus left bank and how that's different for you, and then how Listrac stands out from the rest of the Medoc.
Okay, so I worked at the beginning on the other side of the river, so on the right side, the right side of the river in Saint-Emilion. And to be in general, the big difference is the variety
Hmm.
on the soil. So the variety on the right bank is mainly Merlot, with a little proportion of Cabernet Franc and Cabernet Sauvignon sometimes. On the left side, where is Chateau Fourcas Hosten, is mainly with Cabernet Sauvignon and a little proportion of Merlot. So this is a big difference on the varieties. And after, the difference on the terroir is that on the right side, it's more often clay and limestone.
Hmm.
And on the left side, it's more often gravel and clay.
Okay.
But Chateau Fourcas Hosten has a big specificity. the terroir of Chateau Fourcas Hosten is a big part of gravel and clay, and another part of clay and limestone.
Okay.
So this part is gravel and clay, with mainly in blue the Cabernet Sauvignon.
Okay.
Some Petit Verdot in dark blue, and some Merlot and some Terroir in red.
Okay.
And so this is a gravel soil. On the other map you just showed before is clay, so we can't see the bottom, but it's clay and limestone. So the red is a Merlot, because this terroir is good for Merlot. And you can see a little bit of green, yellow, and other colors. It's 2 hectares of Sauvignon Blanc, Sauvignon Gris,
Oh,
and
wow.
Sémillon.
Okay.
Because this specific terroir is really good for white wines.
Okay.
And so Renaud and Laurent Méja and the team decided to use this great terroir to plant some white varieties.
So you just planted the white varieties?
They planted it in 2012.
Oh, okay. So you have wine.
And so they began producing it in 2014. So it was the first vintage. And maybe, I can show you the bottle.
Oh, fabulous. Yes. Oh,
so
nice.
It's easy to understand what we are doing here. So this is a really small case production, because they produce only 7,000 bottles per year.
Okay.
And the goal is not to produce a big quantity, but really high standard. And moreover, these vines never had a weed killer. It's when it was planted, it was inorganic. So it's still in conversion, but 2020 will be the first year in organic.
Okay. And then how much longer before you're biodynamic?
3 more years to be biodynamic. With Biodivin, and with Demeter, it can be 2 more years.
Wow. Okay. So does the white, is it for sale or because sometimes the chateaus will grow white but just use it internally? Do you sell the white also?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
It's a really new wine, I will say. So the distribution, we do it slowly to do it well. So it's mainly in restaurants, high standard wine. So it's not easy to find it, because you imagine 7,000 bottles for all the world. It's difficult to find it, but we are happy to share it with.
Awesome.
We are happy to share it. Sorry, I couldn't hear.
Oh, that's okay. No, I was just saying that's awesome. There's a bit of a delay, so I apologize for that.
Okay.
Tell us the history of Chateau and pronounce it slowly for me. Fourcas. How do you say it?
Fourcas, Hosten.
Okay. I never know yes or not. Fourcas.
So Fourcas is the name of the area in Listrac. And Hosten was the owner.
Okay.
When they I will say created the winery.
And so can you tell us a little bit about the history of the chateau?
So now you know Hosten was the owner who created the winery, and after you had in 1810 you had a family, Saint-Afrique family, who purchased the winery, and during 160 years they managed the winery. So until 1970. So at that time they built probably the cellar and rebuilt it. And in 1970 you had American owners who invested in the winery. And after 40 years, 35 years exactly, they decided to sell it. And Renaud and Laurent Méja, 2 French brothers, fell in love with the chateau. They were looking for a great place where we produce great wine to invest, and they fell in love with the Chartreuse you can see behind, and also with the vineyard up. You can see it just after the park. So there is 3 hectares of park just here, all around us, and just behind the trees you can see in green the vineyard. So this is a Merlot on that side. And the Cabernet Sauvignon, I can't show you because it's on the other side of the winery.
Okay. And can you explain what a Chartreuse is?
What's the, sorry?
The house.
Chartreuse?
Yeah.
The Chartreuse, it's the name of the chateau, of the house, in fact. It's not a chateau, but it's bourgeoise, house bourgeoise. I don't know how we say it. It's not a chateau with towers, but it's a big house on the same level. You can see only like a tower in the middle, but generally Chartreuse is only one level, like this. It's really long.
Yeah, I first came across that word at Smith Lafitte because they have a Chartreuse in.
Yes.
Yeah.
So you can see it's on one level.
Yeah.
Smith.
It has a basement though, I think. Right?
Yes. After they build it, yeah.
And can you remind me how big the estate is? How big in general? How many hectares?
So actually 43 hectares of red vines are planted, and 2 hectares of white vines, and the total potential is 50 hectares.
And then the reds, do you have one cuvée or do you have multiple cuvées?
The main cuvée is Chateau Fourcas Hosten, so quite the same label as the white. So this is the name of the production of, I would say, 70 to 80% of the vineyard. And after we produce another wine named Cèdre de Fourcas. I don't have the bottle with me because I have only 2 hands.
Right.
And so Cèdre is a wine more on the fruit, really softer but easier to drink. And it's another baby of the winery, I would say.
Are there cedar trees on the property?
Yes, you can maybe see up just one here. And in fact, there were more before.
Okay.
There's another one here. Up here. But with big storm in 1999, most of them were felled, and there were other big storm after, so not good for cedars.
Yeah. And then can you tell us the blend again? I think you said for the white, but could you tell us the blends of all 3?
So the white is mainly Sauvignon Blanc, and after a small part of Sauvignon Gris and a really tiny part of Sémillon.
Okay.
And on the red wine, it's mainly Cabernet Sauvignon, around 55%, and 40% of Merlot, with 2% of Cabernet Franc, and 2 or 3% of Petit Verdot.
Gotcha. And I think people are familiar with most of those. People might not be familiar with Sauvignon Gris. What does Sauvignon Gris bring to a blend?
Sauvignon Gris, is, of course, it's not a common variety because it's not easy to manage also. Oh, okay. But it brings more complexity in the blend and more, I will say, length in the wine also. So the more you have varieties, the more complexity you can have in the wine. And we can see it also on the last vintage of the white wine because we add more semillon and it brings much more complexity in the wine.
Okay. Now, what is it? I would like you to, because you're in the middle of it right now. What does it mean, and what do you actually do to change from traditional to organic, and then from organic to biodynamic? Like, what do you actually do in the field? And maybe
So to convert from, I will say, conventional to organic, the first thing is not to use any more chemical. So no weed killer to kill the weed under the vines. So all is mechanical now, and so you move the soil to destroy the grass.
Okay.
Or you can crush it, mulch it also. So you have these two tools to destruct it. And after, you don't use any more chemical against the disease. So it's only organic way of doing it. So with small quantity of sulfur and copper.
Right.
And after, so this is the main big difference with conventional. And after, to go to biodynamic, we use some, we say prépara. It's some compost named 500 to dynamize the soil, to bring back life to the soil. And we also use another prépara, silicium 501, which is sprayed just last week. We sprayed some to inform the vines that they need to stop to grow. To how do we say? To feed the clusters.
Okay.
And we see the big influence of this prépara because the veraison just began this weekend. So the red grapes are becoming red. They were green last week.
Okay. So and that's floraison when they change color.
Yeah.
Okay. I hadn't heard that before about the 501 because sometimes people cut the vines to tell it to stop spreading and put the energy into the grapes. How can you explain more? Maybe it's
the same. It's the same way. So it's more natural to do it with a 501 because of course we continue to cut because we are in also beginning biodynamic. So since 2 years, but it takes time. And the goal is that to limit to stop cutting the top of the vines because if you do it, that means that the vine grow too much. So we give another information with a 501, for example, and so it will take time. On some plot we do it 2 or 3 times.
Okay.
On other we don't need to do so many times. So when you cut the blood of the vines go directly in the grapes for maturity.
Can you repeat that?
When you cut I would say the blood of the vine, I don't know how we say this, what
like a shoot.
Yes, what is in the shoots, we transfer the minerals, go directly to the grapes, so it helps for bringing the grapes to maturity.
And so then what is the 500?
500, it's a compost. It's a manure that become compost during 6 months. We take manure of the cows and we wait 6 months to bring it to compost, and after we dynamize it and we spray it in the vineyard. There are different periods to spray it. We do a part in autumn and another part during the spring, to bring back life and to have a natural mineralization of the soil.
this might seem like a silly or too basic question, but does going organic and then even further to biodynamic, does that influence the taste of the wine, or does it just make the vineyard more healthy to withstand frost and drought?
I think personally that it's doing both.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, it influences the the plots, the vines, because you bring compost, natural compost. You change the way of working your vines, so you influence directly the nature.
Mm-hmm.
But also in the wine, but not not quickly. It takes time because your vines will have another behavior, and so it will of course influence the maturity of the grapes and the quality of the grapes.
Mm-hmm. And does it change anything at harvest? Is harvest different? Do you have a little more leeway for what they pick in an organic or a biodynamic vineyard?
We noticed in, I think, quite all the organic and biodynamic vineyards that the maturity arrive earlier.
Really?
Yes,
Okay.
I noticed it before when I converted the winery where I worked from conventional to organic and biodynamic, that the maturity arrived 7 days to 10 days before what we did before. And when I spoke to the team, they told me exactly the same here at Chateau Fourcas Hosten.
And there's maturity can refer to actually the fruit, and then I think there's a flavor maturity or phenolic maturity. Can you explain those a little bit more? And is it the same with both?
You have two maturity. You have the technical maturity, the quantity of sugar and the acidity, and you have the phenolic maturity. This phenolic maturity is the tannin, if they are strong or refined. And so it's not difficult actually in general to reach technical maturity because the weather is good. We have higher temperature, so we reach the right quantity of sugar. But to have the phenolic maturity, it's more difficult. So the goal is to have both quite at the same time. And being organic and biodynamic help us a lot because generally we have easily sugar and we don't want too much sugar because too much sugar means more alcohol. And so as we harvest 1 week before, because we have the phenolic maturity really good earlier, we have less sugar, so less alcohol. So it's better for the balance of the wine. I don't know if you understood. It's not easy to explain, but
very clear. Very good explanation. So close to the end of the half hour, can you talk about what work is being done in the vineyard right now?
For 2020, you mean?
Well, you said it's in floraison. Is there work out right now going on? What are they doing?
We just now we ended the work of the soil. Mm-hmm. So under the vines, we just finished working under the vines to kill the grass, mm-hmm. we say, and we are preparing the soil to put natural to put some seeds for the autumn and the winter, so it will be ready soon. And after manually we stopped working in the vineyard. We were just doing some last leaf thinning, mm-hmm. and some small green harvest to decompact the cluster. But so now the team will go in holiday.
Oh, good.
To come back for harvest end of August for the white wine.
Oh, end of August, so soon. Okay.
Yes.
One of the reasons I started this project was because in quarantine everybody is stuck inside and everything was put on hold. But my friend had ordered some vines he was planting, and he said, "Jeff, the vines don't stop." So the quarantine people were out in the vines pruning and whatever they would do at the time throughout these past 4 months. How has the quarantine, and I know it's particular to you, how has the quarantine affected the life cycle of the year in the vines and at the chateau?
You mean in May and
Yeah,
in April? To be honest, it didn't affect the work at Fourcas Hosten because the team never stopped.
okay.
So on April and May are two important months because the vine don't stop growing even if there is a quarantine. So and it's even more difficult than harvest.
Yeah.
Because you have to work the soils, you have the vine growing, you have to disbud, to remove the shoots, and to lots of things to do that people don't imagine. And for us, the harvest, it's the end of all this work, so it's not easy, but not the more difficult part.
Right. And you're back to normal now. The quarantine is confinement is completely over. Do you wear masks in town, and can you eat in restaurants and everything is normal?
Yes, since yesterday or today, sorry, they decided to have the mask in all the public rooms, and so at Chateau Fourcas Hosten, we welcome guests, and we have organized with the team, and Sophie has organized it with the team to have the mask available for people who want to come and visit. And since we have reopened, we are lucky because it's sunny, so we spend most of the time outside in order people can breathe normally. And after during the tasting, they are far from each other more than 1 meter, so they can taste comfortably. So for us, it didn't affect it a lot, except the fact that we have less visitors, less guests than a normal year.
And the sales are gonna catch up and be okay for the year?
It decreased a lot, of course, because it's difficult to export.
Right.
Even just before the confinement, it was difficult. So we can't export as easily as before. So it's slow.
And the thing that I learned during this series is because you weren't able to export, you're storing those bottles, but you're going to have more bottles soon. Do you have space for all of that?
Yes.
Oh, okay. You're good.
We have a warehouse at the chateau.
Okay.
And so we can stock the production of the year. And we continue to sell because, of course, we sold a part, primeur. So, for example, the 2018, we just bottled it in June, and we are preparing we are doing the labeling to deliver the primeur sales soon in September.
Great. Awesome. Well, we're at the half hour, so I'll let you go. Thank you very much. Do you have anything you want to say before you go, or did I miss anything to talk about?
No, I think we spoke about lots of things. We have so many other things to speak about. I don't know if you wanted to have a look in the cellar or maybe another time.
Can you show us that? Do you have?
I will have to walk 2 minutes. Yes.
Do you have reception down there? I'd love to see it if you can. Yeah.
We can see the bathroom.
Yeah.
The bathroom and the barrel room.
Let's go.
Yeah. So we have a look now.
We get a little tour.
Yes, you will do a tour. So this is the park. We have 3 hectares of park classified with lots of tree varieties, not only cedars, but you have oak trees and charm and lots of other trees.
What do you mean the park is classified?
The park was classified by the previous owner in order when they sold the winery, the next owner was not able to to destruct all the park to plant vines.
Oh, cool.
So, and it's really in the philosophy of the owners, the actual owners, because we are organic, biodynamic, and we want to keep life and environment natural. So it's just perfect for us. So it brings back life.
Fabulous.
So this is the rose garden.
Nice. Beautiful.
And I will show you the barrel room.
Oh, wow. I love walking into a barrel room. It's so nice.
So I hope we will not be cut by.
And it already, yeah, it's already.
Is that okay?
I think we're okay. If we start to lose you, maybe just go back outside and we'll say goodbye. But let's keep going if we can.
Yeah, we will go in the other barrel room. So this big room just behind me. Up.
Okay.
So this is the other barrel room. And so all these barrels are red.
Okay.
And after I will show you a small barrel room where we vinify the white wine in bigger barrels.
Okay.
300 and 400 liters. And
Nice.
we also have an amphora.
Oh, nice.
To age and to complexify the blend because it doesn't bring any oak. And I will show you the vat room. So we have stainless steel to blend. And so this is not to do vinification. It's only to stock the wine before bottling or to blend.
Okay.
And after you have the vat room.
Oh, wow.
So in concrete on each side, and in the middle, if it's oak vats. So it's lots of different vats from 25 hectoliter to 100 hectoliter in order to be able to put each plot individually in different tanks.
And that's this this map you sent me of the plots. That's because of this, right?
Yes, because you can see you have a small plot in red, a big in blue. So all these plots are separated. And even more than that, sometimes we separate one plot you can see in red, we can separate it in two. Because we will harvest one part one week and the other part the week after.
Wow. That's
to reach the perfect maturity.
Yeah. Very cool.
So I hope you had a nice tour, and I hope to see you at Chateau Fourcas Hosten.
Yeah, I would love it. Thank you so much, Eloi. It's really nice to see you again, and I hope to see you again soon, either here or over there. Thank you.
Yes, sure.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye-bye, Jeff.
Bye.